The history and future of nuclear power. Hello and welcome to our video on the history and future of nuclear power. Nuclear power has been a hotly debated topic for decades, but many people don't know much about its origins or its potential for the future. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating history of nuclear power, its strengths and weaknesses, and the role it could play in our world going forward. Section 1. The origins of nuclear power. Nuclear power has its roots in the early 20th century, when scientists began to explore the properties of atomic nuclei. In the 1930s, Enrico Fermi and his team achieved the first nuclear fission reaction, leading to the development of the first nuclear reactor in the 1940s. By the 1950s, nuclear power was being used to generate electricity, and it quickly became a popular source of energy for many countries. The discovery of nuclear fission, the process by which a nucleus is split into two or more smaller nuclei, was a major breakthrough that paved the way for the development of nuclear power. The first nuclear fission reaction was achieved in 1938 by German chemists Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann, who discovered that bombarding uranium with neutrons could cause it to split into smaller elements. The potential of nuclear energy was quickly recognized, and scientists around the world began to investigate ways to harness it. In 1942, Enrico Fermi and his team at the University of Chicago achieved the first controlled nuclear chain reaction, using a pile of graphite and uranium. This breakthrough led to the development of the first nuclear reactor, the Chicago Pile 1, which was used to produce plutonium for the Manhattan Project, the American program to develop the atomic bomb. After World War II, many countries began to invest in nuclear power as a source of energy. The first commercial nuclear power plant was opened in 1954 in Obninsk, Russia, and the first nuclear power plant in the United States, the Shippingport Atomic Power Station, began operating in 1957. Nuclear power quickly became a popular source of energy for many countries, due to its high energy density and low greenhouse gas emissions compared to fossil fuels. In the 1970s and 1980s, many new nuclear power plants were built around the world, with the United States, France, and Japan leading the way. However, the development of nuclear power was not without controversy. In the 1970s, concerns about nuclear safety and the disposal of nuclear waste led to protests in opposition to nuclear power. The accident at 3 Mile Island in 1979, where a partial meltdown occurred, further heightened public concern about nuclear power. Despite these challenges, nuclear power remains an important source of energy today, with over 440 nuclear reactors operating in 30 countries. Many countries are also investing in new nuclear technologies, such as small modular reactors and nuclear fusion, which have the potential to be safer and more efficient than traditional nuclear power plants. The origins of nuclear power can be traced back to the early 20th century, when scientists began to explore the properties of atomic nuclei. The discovery of nuclear fission and the development of the first nuclear reactor in the 1940s paved the way for the commercial use of nuclear power in the 1950s. While nuclear power has faced many challenges over the years, it remains an important source of energy and has the potential to play a key role in meeting our growing energy needs. Section 2. The challenges of nuclear power. While nuclear power has many advantages, it also presents significant challenges. The most notable of these is the risk of nuclear accidents, which can have devastating consequences. We'll take a closer look at some of the most notable nuclear disasters in history, including Chernobyl and Fukushima, and explore what lessons we can learn from them. The Chernobyl disaster, which occurred in 1986 in Ukraine, was the worst nuclear accident in history. It occurred when a reactor at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded and released radioactive material into the environment. The disaster resulted in the deaths of 2 plant workers and 28 firefighters who died from acute radiation sickness. It is estimated that the disaster caused at least 4,000 deaths from radiation-related illnesses and may have contributed to thousands more. The disaster also led to the displacement of over 100,000 people and resulted in significant environmental and economic impacts. The Fukushima disaster, which occurred in 2011 in Japan, was the result of an earthquake and tsunami that damaged the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The disaster led to a partial meltdown of 3 reactors and the release of radioactive material into the environment. The disaster resulted in the deaths of 2 plant workers and the displacement of over 150,000 people. The long-term health effects of the disaster are still being studied. These disasters highlight the importance of safety in the operation of nuclear power plants. While advances in technology have made nuclear power safer over the years, accidents can still occur. It is important for nuclear power plants to have robust safety systems in place, and for regulators to ensure that these systems are being properly maintained and operated. Another challenge of nuclear power is the issue of nuclear waste. Nuclear power plants produce radioactive waste that can remain dangerous for thousands of years. This waste must be carefully managed and stored to prevent it from contaminating the environment. There is also the issue of what to do with the waste in the long term, as current storage solutions are only meant to be temporary. Nuclear power also presents security concerns, as the materials used to produce nuclear energy can also be used to produce nuclear weapons. There is a risk of nuclear proliferation if these materials fall into the wrong hands, which could have catastrophic consequences. Section 3. The future of nuclear power. Despite its challenges, nuclear power remains an important source of energy, and many scientists believe it could play a key role in our efforts to combat climate change. We'll explore some of the latest innovations in nuclear technology, including small modular reactors and fusion power, and examine the potential benefits and drawbacks of these technologies. One of the most promising innovations in nuclear power is the development of small modular reactors, SMRs. SMRs are smaller than traditional nuclear reactors, making them easier to manufacture, transport, and install. They can also be used in remote locations, which could increase access to clean energy in developing countries. SMRs also have enhanced safety features, such as passive cooling systems that can prevent accidents like those seen in Chernobyl and Fukushima. Another innovation in nuclear power is the development of fusion energy. Unlike fission reactors, which split atoms to generate energy, fusion reactors combine atoms to release energy. This process is similar to what occurs in the sun, and could potentially provide a near-limitless source of clean energy. While fusion technology is still in the experimental stage, scientists have made significant progress in recent years, and some believe that commercial fusion power could become a reality within the next few decades. One of the potential benefits of nuclear power is that it can provide a constant, reliable source of energy that does not rely on weather conditions or other factors. This makes it an attractive option for countries looking to reduce their dependence on fossil fuels. Nuclear power is also highly efficient, with a single reactor capable of generating enough electricity to power millions of homes. However, there are also potential drawbacks to nuclear power. As we discussed earlier, nuclear accidents can have catastrophic consequences, and it is important to ensure that safety systems are in place to prevent accidents from occurring. Additionally, the long-term storage of nuclear waste remains a significant challenge, and there is the risk of nuclear proliferation if materials are not properly secured. Another challenge facing nuclear power is cost. While nuclear power can be an efficient source of energy, building and maintaining nuclear reactors is expensive, and many countries may not have the resources to invest in this technology. Additionally, there is the issue of public perception, as many people remain wary of nuclear power and may be resistant to its expansion. Despite these challenges, many countries are continuing to invest in nuclear power. For example, China is currently building dozens of new nuclear reactors, while France gets the majority of its electricity from nuclear power. In the United States, the Biden administration has expressed support for nuclear power as a clean energy option. Conclusion. In conclusion, nuclear power is a complex and fascinating topic, with a rich history and exciting potential for the future. As we continue to grapple with the challenges of climate change and our growing energy demands, it's important to consider all the options available to us. We hope you've enjoyed this overview of the history and future of nuclear power, and we encourage you to continue exploring this topic further. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below.